All set, are you ready for recording? Okay. I'm calling the regular meeting of the Township of Frontenac Island to order, September the 8th, 9:30. We begin this gathering by acknowledging and celebrating these traditional lands as gathered at a gathering place of the first peoples and their ancestors who are entrusted to care for Mother Earth since time immemorial. We do so respecting both the land and the Indigenous people who continue to walk with us through this world. Today, the Township of Frontenac Island is committed to working with the Indigenous peoples and all residents to pursue a united path of reconciliation. Is there any declaration of pecuniary interest in general nature thereof? Okay, then we have the first motion to go into closed.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Saunders, second by Councillor Jablonski, that council adjourn to form council in closed session regarding Municipal Act Section 239C, a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board. Municipal Act Section 239E, litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local board. And Municipal Act Section 239F, advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose. Specifically, a matter pertaining to negotiations involving a transportation service, a matter regarding a temporary rezoning amendment application, and a matter regarding status of litigation.
Is that Council Brooks?
No, that's
After.
yeah.
All in favor? Okay, moved into close now at 9:32. So we're resuming the regular meeting. We're finished our close. Sorry for the delay. And that was needed. So it's 10:45. We're moving to the consent agenda. We'll be receiving the minutes.
Through you, Madam Mayor, one moment. Moved by Deputy Mayor Saunders, second by Councillor Holton, that council direct staff to proceed as instructed during the closed session in accordance with the discussions held.
All those in favor? Carried.
Thank you.
Okay.
So, Madam Mayor, before I put the motion on the floor, is there any items under the information items that any member of council wishes to have pulled to discuss separately?
Yes. July 17th, 24th, 31st. 14th, 21st, September 4th.
So all of the AMO, with the exception of
Yeah.
August, was it the 14th and the 18th? Or August the 7th and the 18th? First and 8th.
I included the 14th and the 21st, September 4th. So, yeah,
So August 7th and the 28th.
Correct. correct. All right, and first one that I want to make note, July 17th, it talked about the EASE grant. And that was available to us. Unfortunately, it closed on August the 14th, and since we didn't have a meeting during August, and I don't know whether we've applied for anything. It would have helped us with our sidewalks, make sure that they're accessible for the disabled, and some of our sidewalks. They're in the village and that are still challenged that way, both in width as well as the gradients, but that has been closed, and I take it we didn't make any application for that.
You're not writing no application.
Okay. The broad funding of the Rural Ontario Development, it still is open until September the 24th of this year. And it is a cost sharing application, and it goes towards roads, bridges, and recreational facilities. And that's, so I know we don't have a strategic plan, but we do have lots of projects along this line. Have we made any application to those?
Yeah, through you, Madam Mayor, I'm no application, so I'm happy to speak about the program today. So there was 3 streams of the grant. The first one revolves around dedicating a strategic or plan regarding economic development. There's a stream for workforce development, attraction, and retention, and then there was a third stream relating to cost sharing for rehabilitation, where you have projects, for example, rehabilitating a building. Important to note that as part of stream 3, one of the conditions is that it has to be a project identified in a plan. So if you don't have a plan, you're kind of limited in what you could apply for there. So for the township, again, stream 1, it's a cost share 50% up to $50,000 to get a plan developed. Obviously that means the township has to put in half. For the intake, I guess it comes to council, whether that's something we want to evaluate and put an application through in. I did just want to note for this stream of funding that there's multiple intakes. So the first one is done in September 24th. There's also a second intake, February 26th. So at this time, again, for getting a strategic plan done relating to economic development, for our size, just like a rough estimate, probably, you know, a plan could be done $10,000-15,000. So we have to put half forward. With that being said, just to keep the number simple, you know, if the council is willing to put up $7,500, I can look at trying to get an application in by the 24th. And if not, then being ready for the second intake. If it's part of the second intake, we can also build that into our 2026 budget. Again, these things are helpful, like for example, with this grant, if you have the plan, then you can then apply for future grants and have pre-approved projects and whatnot. So that's just kind of the little kind of summary just on the grant. I didn't speak about stream 2, but as far as kind of our purposes, I feel that either the plan or once having a plan, actually investing in the infrastructure would be more suitable to the township needs. As far as what we use it for.
So stream 3 though,
So yeah, stream 3 with the rehabilitation or either the plan, not the workforce retention. I looked at it, I just thought it was less relevant to.
I think it's the bridges and rehabilitation and recreational facilities.
Yeah, so for stream 3, they say cultural or historical significance. Again, not too far into that, if it needs to be like a historic building or, you know, what meets the definition, it might not be, it might just have to be, you have to prove that it has, you know, historical significance in the community. You know, we do have some, you know, especially where our office is, it is a old building, it's, you know, from the 1800s, so. Yeah, so again, I think it's important to note, any of this requires us to put money in as well, so. Staff would take direction from council, if there was, I think at this point. We require a strategic plan to be able to apply for kind of the third type of funding.
A general
Yeah,
strategic
yeah.
plan.
Not a general, I think that they specifically ask for economic development, strategic plan. That's right, that's what stream 1 would provide, and then that will be used to do rehabilitation projects.
Okay, sounds good. Maybe council will consider.
Yeah.
Putting money towards this, and when would be the appropriate time to have that discussion, Madison?
So through Madam Mayor, if I could just interject, because there's multiple intakes, you know, to be most prepared. I'm willing to kind of do some work upon council's direction to include this in a budget discussion, just to see rough costs, you know, start getting quotes on what a plan would cost for our size municipality. Which would put us well on the line to get the second intake. Which would then we can budget the $7,500 and be part of that plan.
Whereas if we had the strategic plan. Moving forward, and that by the time we get to the second intake, we would make a bigger application. And the amount of money that you can get through the Rural Ontario Development Fund, I believe it's up to 2.5 million.
Let me check for the
A lot of money.
it's for this one, like stream 3, it's up to 250,000. Again, that stream, they only cover 35% of your cost, so you're still putting up 65.
If we have a plan.
Madam Mayor, point of order, I believe these are gonna be information items, it seems like they're developing into work discussions.
That's why I was asking the clerk here on that, on the appropriate time, would it be in the notice of motion later on? That this could
With
be,
respect to providing direction to
Yeah.
staff or
Yeah.
applying for the grant?
yes, okay, so we'll do that for later, at notice of motion. All right, and then continuing on, in July 17th, it mentions loss. Loss is LAS, 90% of the 444 municipalities across Ontario belong to it. It's my understanding we don't.
Uh,
They stopped paying the dues for it about 2 years ago. And that at the time of,
Excuse me, Madam, again, point of order, again, my point is, I think these are meant to be information items, and it seems like they're getting a discussion about workload or direction to staff.
no, this is,
No,
I'm getting clarification.
okay, so you were asking a question.
Yeah.
Right, so can you ask? Let me put it this way, Madam Mayor. This meeting is already running very long. If we go through this amount of detail on every one of these information items, we'll be here until Christmas. So can I suggest that if you have a specific question about the status of one of these, you direct it to staff through an email or prior to the meeting? Because this is really taking up a lot of time.
Yeah, overruled. This is our time to actually pull from the agenda. And that, so these are questions that would have been nice to have asked at a previous meeting. Nice to get the answer, but these things are important to us. And I do have the opportunity to ask the staff, not whether or not we're members of LAS at this point in time.
yeah, through Madam Mayor, it's my understanding that we are members of LAST. It's one of our memberships that we'll maintain.
Are we? Okay,
Through you, Madam Mayor, so clarification, while we may hold a membership with LAS. The staff can look further into, there's other programs that LAS offers that we are affiliated with.
okay. Some sort of connection, that's good. And it was also noted that August 31st was the end of the climate ready infrastructure program that we could have had access to. October the 18th to 19th, there is a conference on healthy democracies being held in Toronto, which would be very interesting to anybody to attend. And the municipal information and data analysis system mentioned in the August 31st, and that is available to any of the counselors to be entered into, and it has a wealth of information. The Community Environment Fund mentioned in August 14th is $3 million to support and restore environment, and that is still open till September 24th. And that to me would have been an ideal time to look at anything that's needed in redoing the dunes at Big Sandy Bay, the walkway there. And that it seems to be not in the best shape. But we don't have a plan.
You know, through Madam, we don't own that land. I think we maintain it for the Conservation Authority, so. I guess it's complicated. We wouldn't necessarily be able to apply for a grant. The authority would have to. Yeah, work that out.
Okay, the Ministry of Economic Development, Job Creation and Trade is accepting fundings for any project that we can demonstrate we've been affected by the US trade disruption. And that could potentially be our tourism piece. And that for our international trade and development. So that's a good fund to be aware of. There's new guidelines for the battery energy storage system as well. And since we have large batteries that are currently installed on our Wolf Island dock for the new ferry, and that'd be good to have that information. And so that is new guidance about
the back.
Please do not interrupt. Do not interrupt. Thank you. And August 21st is funding boost for municipal housing and infrastructure. And lots of municipalities have stepped into that funding piece, and that I believe South Frontenac just got 3.4 million or so towards it. This Energy Safety Response Group with new guidance answering common questions and myths regarding our energy panels. And September the 4th, AMO talks about the Build, Trade and Tariff Economic Reset federal government initiative of 10.3 million for supporting enhancement of cyber resilience, including innovation, knowledge sharing, and capacity building. And that's open until September the 25th. And I know that we do have cyber concerns and that are part and parcel.
Yeah, and through Madam Mayor, our cyber and IT security is contracted through the county. And we rely on other expertise if there was additional funds needed for our infrastructure. So again, we're in communication. I'm happy to pass along the information.
Okay, and apparently January 1st of 2026. Mercury containing lights are gonna be completely prohibited. There had been earlier grants and the treasurer is gonna look into the municipal energy program to see whether or not we're eligible. But since we have the CEO here and that, I hope that we are already compliant or have identified that perhaps under asset management. That's something that had to be replaced since we've recently had expenditures of lights up of the ball dining. It was very old. The Ontario Municipal Partnerships Fund is $50 million targeted towards small and rural municipalities. And there's a rural portal in that we are part of. So these are things that, you know, oftentimes councils have asked me, how have I heard about it? Well, part of it is this AMO letter, and then doing a little bit more research into it to make sure that we take the best advantages we can. Unfortunately, we've missed a few over the course of time, but hindsight's 20/20, but I hope we don't miss too many more in the future, and I hope that we do get a strategic plan in place so that we can take better advantage of these things. Okay,
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Moved by Deputy Mayor Saunders, second by Councilor Jablonski, that the July 14th, 2025 council meeting minutes be adopted as presented or amended. And that the information items be received and filed.
okay. Any additions or deletions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried. Okay. Next, we're at the report. Administration report AD 016-25, review procedure bylaw and summary of proposed changes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Moved by Deputy Mayor Saunders, second by Councilor Fulton, that administration report number AD 016-25, review the procedural bylaw 02-2019, summary of proposed changes be received. And further that council direct staff to proceed with finalizing the proposed procedure bylaw, incorporating council's feedback and preparing the document for adoption at subsequent meeting. The report is before council. Staff have worked on developing a new procedural bylaw. There have been several amendments to the one that was adopted in 2019. So we're incorporating those. This is just the first draft. It's before council. I'm looking for any kind of comments or questions back to staff. And if you wish to send those to me via email, I can certainly share with the remainder of council in case, you know, any other council members have the same kind of comments or questions. Just so we're not taking up too much time here today as we are at 11 o'clock as it is. So,
Okay. All right, and I'm gonna speak to this matter that you just mentioned first, and that is usually when there's a review of such a bylaw, and that it's usually done in a separate committee. And that separate committee, especially for proceedings of council, and that is usually comprised of council members. And that at the very minimum, at least the mayor and another council member, as well as supportive staff, because it is actually the role of council for developing policies and supervising them, not staff. So when I went through this particular draft and that, I looked at it also from the view of what we had in place, 2019-02, which was a 21-page inclusive policy and procedure. And this is blossomed out to 46 pages, I believe.
yes.
And there's a lot of questions and quite frankly, a lot of concern that, so I agree that it's not time worthy within a council meeting. This should be done at a committee, but there should be council involvement in the committee. And that, because this is important. And quite frankly, the document, not to minimize in any way, shape or form the effort that the staff had put into this. I did not find that it was superior to the previous one, not that the previous one couldn't be tweaked or updated. But I actually found this one not to be helpful in that regard. So I would be making a motion and that we table this and actually put an addition into the committee that has worked on this with at least one counselor, myself, so that we can work through this and get it better. And I say that sitting on the governance committee, not only for the county where we do exactly that and have been doing 2 full meetings on the procedure bylaw there already, be making recommendations that would eventually come to council, but also having gone through 3 public health units and bringing together governance on policy and procedure. So just doing this as even providing only routine feedback back to the staff is not in keeping with what the role of a counselor is. The role of the counselor is actually identified in the act for developing policies and being involved. So that is my statement, and it'll be my motion that we table this and get at least 2 people from council involved on it.
So Madam Mayor, if you're making a motion, I think I believe you're required to turn the chair over to me and you can provide your motion.
We'll be getting to the motion piece later on, or can we do this?
The
at this
motion's
point?
on the floor right now.
Motion's on the floor right now. Yes, I will turn the table over.
Okay, so Mayor has made a motion to basically defer this and develop in my words, develop a committee to review it. The mayor needs a seconder for that motion. Is there a seconder for the motion?
I actually made the motion to table this.
Okay, so I'll clarify it. The motion on the table is to table this document. Or the discussion.
Table this.
So do we have a second? No. Seeing no seconder, the motion is defeated. The chair's back to you.
Okay, no, the second motion is that at least one counselor and the mayor be added to the committee.
Okay, so the mayor is making another motion, which is to establish a committee to review and make recommendations on the procedural bylaw. She'll need a seconder for that motion. Seeing none, the motion is defeated. Chair's back to you, Madam Mayor.
All right, I'll go around the table. Counselor Ackley?
The only thing I see, there's a few articles in here that I'm not 100% with, and again, we can put our submissions into you,
Correct.
the CAO, to discuss that, what we like or what we don't like, clarify, and then go from there, right? Because we're not gonna pass this today, we're just, yeah.
That's correct.
Perfect.
Okay,
All I need to know.
Counselor Saunders.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I think this is excellent work. I'm not sure how long it took to put all this together, but it's extensive and, well, just for council's knowledge, I actually read the whole thing, which for me is a challenge. And I'm prepared to send any comments. I have several comments, prepared to send those to the clerk CEO in an email, perhaps for summary of all the other comments, so we can bring back the next meeting.
Correct. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Counselor Holton.
I will do the same. I will send in my comments and concerns and you're back in the next meeting.
Okay, Counselor Tulowitzki.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Yes, I look at this now, actually, I think it's quite extensive and well done, extremely well done. So, yeah, I'll table a couple things I'm concerned about to CEO Vanessa Lammer, and we'll get to the next meeting. Sounds good. Sounds good.
Okay. My concerns remain extensive, and both for the process as well as the legality of some of the aspects in it. So while I'll send them in and that there will be further discussion that on the legality in that, because this is an important piece of document, and I don't believe it should be brought back to this council for any serious consideration until it's reviewed much more extensively by council. And since we can't share emails in that regard, this is actually the time that it needs to be discussed if we don't discuss it in a committee. Okay. So.
So the motion's on the floor. Does council wish me to reread the motion?
Yes,
Moved by Deputy Mayor Saunders, seconded by Councillor Holton, that administration report AD 1625, review of procedural bylaw 02/2019, summary of proposed changes be received, and further that council direct staff to proceed with finalizing the proposed procedural bylaw, incorporating council's feedback and preparing the document for adoption at a subsequent meeting.
and we'll have a recorded vote for this.
Councillor Ackley,
Yeah, I'm in favor.
Councillor Holton,
In favor.
Councillor Jablonski,
In favor.
Deputy Mayor Saunders,
In favor?
Mayor Greenwood Spears,
Opposed.
motion is carried.
Okay, now we're at administration report number AD 017-25, records management policy and retention bylaw.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Moved by Councillor Holton, seconded by Councillor Jablonski, that administration report number 80-17-25, records management policy and retention bylaw be received. And further that staff bring forward the final records management policy and updated records retention bylaw for the council's consideration at a subsequent meeting. As council is aware, during the budget process, we were approved to purchase the Tom Rims, which is the Ontario municipal management record system. We have purchased that. Staff have had training with regards to the Tom Rims. The previous, the current records management policy is outdated and certainly not being followed. So staff have taken the opportunity to develop a new policy and retention bylaw in accordance with the new Tom Rims rules. And so we have developed a draft which is attached, and again, if council has any questions or concerns, they can certainly drop their comments and send them off to staff.
And we'll also have discussion on anything. Councillor Ackley? No question? Okay, Councillor Saunders?
One quick question, Madam Mayor. So each document will be assigned a retention date or time? That's part of the process, is it?
Through you, Madam Mayor. So Tom Rims has like everything in their retention schedule. So what staff is proposing, rather than do itemize every record that could possibly be, we are putting in there, it's in accordance with the Tom Rims schedules.
Thank you.
And then that way it doesn't have to be brought back to council for update.
Thank you.
Okay, Councillor Holton?
I think this is great. It's housekeeping, some things we need to keep up to date. Thank you.
Okay, Councillor Jablonski?
It's it's good job in getting up to date. Carry on.
Okay. I have a question on our previous records retention management policy. How many changes were made? Was it compared?
Through you, Madam Mayor, I don't have that off the top of my head. There were several changes with respect to just the retention period itself, just simply updating from 2016 to 2025.
Okay, and on that, the retention period for different pieces is of interest, and that, for example, emails.
Through you, Madam Mayor, Angelique, are you able to answer that? I'm not sure if it addresses.
Yes, for the retention on the email, so it'll be very specific to the Tom Rims retention, and it does apply to emails.
So I'd be interested to know the schedule of all these different things, because reports and that, before we get to the destruction of paid reports is identified in here. And that there may be historic value of some, certainly anything related to transportation for islands is always going to be of great value. And that, but I'd be very interested to know what the Tom Rims timelines are for everything from our videos that we have of the meetings to of course, keeping the agendas and things of that nature, and I understand well getting rid of the duplications and things of that nature, but sometimes you can get to the point of throwing bathwater, baby out with bathwater. And just a point in your, records management, you have a typo in, and that, means information is skipped off contained. Apparently in doesn't like to show up in that. Kotai
What page is that? Sorry.
it's on page 2. And
Page two of the
in,
policy.
yeah, of the policy.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay. And over on page 3, when it talks about, in point 7, copies of publications such as published reports. And that is of concern if we're getting rid of any published reports and that administration manuals that are outdated and telephone directories, catalogs, things like that, not an issue, but published reports caught my attention. It's something we should be sensitive to. Okay. So I would appreciate a clearer timeline of what dates these things are supposed to take effect. I know some things for financial purposes are kept forever, tax records and things of that nature.
Yeah, the tax, yeah, there's different requirements, so.
Yeah, but the ones that are already discarded and that, I'd like to know which ones are being ready to be discarded. So it doesn't have to come back to council and so we aren't surprised that the things may be gone. Okay. All right,
So that motion's on the floor. I'm just looking to,
any further comments or questions? All those in favor? Administration report AD 018-25, consideration of sale, unopened road allowance utilization as private lane, Warren Lane.
thank you, Madam Mayor. Moved by Councillor Holton, seconded by Councillor Jablonski, that administration report number AD 018-25, consideration of sale, unopened road allowance utilized as private lane, water access at both ends be received, and further that council direct staff to notify adjacent property owners of the potential sale of the unopened road allowance, assess public asset access and municipal interest in retaining any portion of the land, and report back to council with a summary of the responses and next steps in accordance with the land disposition bylaw. So staff have been approached, and I've attached a copy of the GIS mapping with regards to the parcel of land in question. So the red hashtag is the portion of the unopened road allowance. They would be looking, owners of the 49 Warren Lane would be looking to purchase. That being said, if council is interested in proceeding with it, staff would recommend that we approach the budding landowner on the opposite side to see if they would be interested in purchasing their half essentially of the unopened road allowance. I have a concern with regards to and you can't see it because it's not up on the screen, but there's a piece of property, potentially 2. I'm not 100% sure how they have access to their property, so I'm not sure if stopping up and closing that portion will landlock those 2 pieces, but at the very least, it does lead to water and it is a private lane at this point in time. So I'm just looking for direction from council as to whether they wish to proceed any further or just leave it as is.
Okay, Councillor Ackley?
So my question is, so there's people on both sides of that own to the end there, the water access.
Correct,
So, and this is in the middle of the 2 people
correct.
and only one person's contacted right now.
That's correct.
And we would ask the other people if they're interested in half of the half or something, cause.
Yeah, so if it's through you, Madam Mayor, sorry, if it's say a 40-foot road allowance
Yeah.
down through there. The owners to the west would have the opportunity to purchase 20 feet, and then the owners to the east would potentially purchase the other 20 feet. If they're not interested, then it could be all of 49 Warren Lane
Yeah.
could purchase all of the 40 feet.
And is there a ramp at the end of this, do we know, or is it a big cliff, or is it
I
a?
don't know.
I believe it may have been the site that was identified potentially of a bridge footing. In one of the proposed bridge from the Kingston side, from the mainland side to Wolf Island, was identified 2 spots. One was on Brophy's Point, as Naps is commonly referred to, and the other is at Dawson, and that's so. I think that was probably a location that would have been identified as being an asset to the township, and certainly an asset remains an asset to the township. But
40 feet, 45 feet wide, would that be enough for a bridge?
it's road allowance.
It seems quite narrow. Okay, just answer the question, thank you.
Councillor Saunders.
I defer to the advice of the 2 Wolf Island councillors.
Okay, Councillor Halton.
I pretty familiar with the site. It would be more beneficial to the other neighbor to add it to their lot, because it's an old lot and it's only 100-foot frontage. That said, I don't see that we're gonna get enough out of it to really worry about it. It's not really an asset that I can say we really need to, because you can't access this road allowance without going through private property to get to it. So I would say just leave it alone for now, till we have an idea of what we wanna do with some of these.
Councillor Jablonski.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I'm not gonna worry about a bridge footing. I don't think I'm gonna see a bridge in a long time. I'll go outside with that, Councillor Hall. Gotta go for now.
Okay, and I'm in agreement as well, so I'm gonna ask for a show of hands that we just. You have 3 options, I believe. That you wanted us to look at. Direct staff for the sale, defer consideration, or decline to proceed. So let's do the decline to proceed first.
Through you, Madam Mayor, so what we would have to do, if council's not interested, I would recommend. Like just the motion being lost. That being said. At the very least, we need to receive the report, so if we break it into 2 motions then. So that we can receive the report and that direction be given to not proceed with anything further at this time, if that's how council wishes to proceed.
Okay, so the first motion is to receive the report of administration AD 018-25 for information purposes. At this time. I can't really say only, can I?
It's to be received and filed. Yeah.
Received and filed, okay. All those in favor? Carried. Second motion. For providing direction to council or to staff, sorry. I give the 3 options. One is direct staff to begin the land sale process. Anyone in favor? Seeing none, it has failed. Defer consideration pending the more detailed review and report of water access implications. Anyone in favor? Seeing none, it has failed. Decline to proceed with any sale and retain the unopened allowance in its current status. All those in favor? Carried. Okay, now. We're at administration report FMSC shareholders agreement. No worries in that. It's a report that actually I would have thought might have come from our representative. And that on the FMSC, but it's just from you, and that's fine.
Okay, moved by Deputy Mayor Saunders, second by Councilor Jablonski, that administration report AD 019-25 FMSC Frontenac Municipal Shareholders, Frontenac Municipal Services Corporation Shareholders Agreement be received. And further, that council authorized the mayor and clerk to sign the FMSC Shareholders Agreement, recognizing the township is already financially committed to the board until September of 2028. Remaining in the corporation beyond 2028 does not obligate the township to future funding unless desired. And continued participation may provide strategic and financial advantages for future infrastructure development within the township. If council remembers, this was brought at the July 14th council meeting, and there were several, or a couple of questions actually raised at that meeting. One was our financial commitment, which we are committed to the board until September of 2028. And another question was raised with regards to when we have to provide notice or how much notice we have to provide. So the municipality, if they are looking to get out of the shareholders agreement after 2028, the municipality would have to provide notice to the board September 1st to be out December 31st of the following year.
Okay. Comments? Discussion.
Again, I don't think there's any way till the end, so we're committed, right? How much I can say.
Okay, Councilor Saunders?
So clarification, you Madam Mayor, clarification, so it'll be up to the next council to decide if they want to continue, because that would be 2027. Decide it in September to not go into 28, is that?
So through you, Madam Mayor, the municipality is committed until September 1st, 2028. So if the next term of council wishes to opt out, I would say they would have to give September 1st of 2028 to be out by the following year. December
Thank you for that.
31st of
In
2029.
reality, it'll be a decision for the next council.
Yeah.
Correct, that's correct.
Thank you.
I believe it's 2.7 in the agreement, to make the withdrawal. And
Yes,
that
yes.
is a written notice.
No.
Okay. I'm sorry.
I'm good with this. We're committed to it till 2028 and the opt-out clause. And we have options, so we don't have to put any more money in, so I think we might as well stay with it.
Okay, Councilor Jablonski?
Yeah, so I didn't have the report ready for Madam Mayor, but this was actually out of my balance, so. The, as I said before, they did clarify one thing for us, so it may change the, council's decision in the future, that directors will have liability insurance coming up. So people who actually want to proceed with this, will be covered properly, so don't have to put their assets on the line. Yeah, I was getting, we talked to Jesse before about this in the law in 2028, so let's just finish this off.
Okay, and just 2 points on that, point A, and that's in the middle of it. It caught my attention. Any quorum must include a director appointed by South Frontenac. They're so special that even if you had quorum on the meeting, you have to have somebody from South Frontenac at it. And if we did opt out in the future and that, it's $1 a share, so we'd be $926 apparently might get returned to us, because that's the amount of shares that we have. So aside from that, it's not costing us any more to be in it right now, correct?
No, we're committed.
Liability insurance, they'll probably be able to find in the chunk of change that they have at this point in time.
Yeah, through you, Madam Mayor, they're supposed to be self-sufficient with what the install is put through, so,
Okay.
yeah, wouldn't be requesting more from us.
Okay, any further comments or questions? All those in favor? Carried.
Thank you.
Now we have finance report, always fun. FN 009-25 tax sales results.
That's okay. Moved by Councilor Jablonski, seconded by Deputy Mayor Saunders, that finance report number FN 009-25, tax sale results, July 24th, 2025, be received.
Thank you. Through you, Madam Mayor, I'll keep this report brief. I'm sure many of you saw, we have advertised for two properties up for tax sale. One was from Howe Island, one was from Wolf. I'm happy to report today the tax sales for both were canceled, as the municipality received the cancellation price. Under the municipal act, basically the tax sale gets canceled if we get payment for all outstanding tax arrears. In total, that was $131,230. So definitely, sniffing some of money. Overall, the tax sales have been successful. I believe we raised around $255,000 last year, so. We're still doing work to kind of clean up and put properties through the process, but it's good to see kind of this money coming back into the township. Yeah, definitely helped with the cash flows and all that, so. If there's any questions, that's just kind of the high level. I don't have much more information to share.
Okay, any questions? Directly,
Great job.
Under,
Thank you, Mayor.
Sir,
Oh, thank you.
and Sir Jablonski.
Awesome, Jesse,
Yeah.
awesome one.
Very good, thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Now, we're at financial report. Oh, Carried. Sorry. Carried.
Good.
Actually, I believe I called it, maybe. All those in favor? There, so, there, my mistake. Okay, now we're at the finance report, FN 010-25. Q2 year-to-date financial report.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Saunders, second by Councillor Holton, that finance report number FN 010-25, the 2025 Q2 year-to-date financial report be received.
Thank you, through you, Madam Mayor. Again, a lot of information on the report, but I'm just gonna try to highlight some kind of the key factors. So starting off as a Q2, I've noted a surplus of $530,000 so far for the township. The one thing I just kind of want to note at this point is, based on how I do the report, it's looking at how much of the tax we've collected. So within that surplus, we've had collected money for our roads capital projects, which we haven't yet spent, which we'll spend in future quarters. I just want to bring that up just because that number is in and itself just a little inflated, and we're not going to be carrying a $500,000 surplus for the whole year. At the next report, you'll kind of see that number come down. But what I did kind of want to highlight, and I think what's kind of most important when I do these reports, is looking kind of first at our operating budgets, especially on the expense side. So I think pretty much across the board, in most cases, almost all departments have over kind of 50% of their operating budget remaining on the expense side. From a managed perspective, that's really what we're tracking to make sure that we're spending within budget. Looking at items that, you know, if there are any that are slightly over, making sure that we look at what we're buying to make sure that at the end of the year, we come in under budget. And then on the capital side, we did have a few kind of smaller purchases. On the general admin departments, we purchased the sealed container. We've already done some excellent work with our kind of documents and putting things in order that's getting used. Again, just for transparency, it did come in slightly over budget, about $678. However, we believe that can be covered from surpluses within the administration department, not requiring, you know, transfer from reserve, so we'll be self-sufficient there. Again, so for the general department overall, it's right now reflecting just a surplus of $190,000, just where we're sitting at now. Wolf Island, again, like I said, operating budget, everything's kind of, you know, operating where we're expecting. No significant or capital purchases in Q2. Again, we definitely have, the number will be a lot higher. We have road work being done currently, so when I do a Q3 report, we'll see some kind of significant capital expenditures. As a whole right now, again, operating with $143,000 surplus. Similar story for Howe Island, again, operating budget, you know, we're comfortable with where we're seeing the numbers. There was a couple purchases made for Howe Island during Q2. So the first was the purchase of a mulcher. $35,000 was budgeted, and it came in at $27,474, coming in under budget. There was a purchase of a wood chipper. That slightly came over budget at $5,088. But between those two purchases for the road department, you know, it was around $7,000 under budget. The Howe Island, there was money in the budget for increasing the washing capacity at Patrick Norris Park. Again, $10,000 was budgeted and the costs were completed at just under $6,000. Again, Howe Island Apartments as of now operating with a surplus of $204,000. Again, that's kind of just a quick high level overview of kind of the key financial results. If you have any specific questions, I'm more than happy to answer them right now.
Counselor Hackley? Would you like me to come back to you?
Yeah, come back.
Counselor Saunders?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I want to thank all the staff for the excellent work they're doing in managing costs. We came into this term feeling like our finances were in bad shape. We're certainly moving in the right direction, and that's attributable to all the work that all staff are doing. I do want to let staff know that we're trying to do our part. Line 11,000, which is council expenses, 27,000, which is only we still have a surplus of 43,000. So we've only spent 39% of our budget so far. So we're trying to do our smart part. So thank you all for your.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Jesse. That keeps us informed and know what's going on and where we're at, and it looks good. Thank you.
Counselor Jablonski?
Echo the same sentence, Council Alderman and Jesse, I'm just waiting to see Q3. Show me the magic of Q3 again.
Try to keep it up, but yeah, that surplus number is gonna go down. I'm giving everyone a warning now.
May go down faster on the Howe Island side because they had the road work done sooner. That goes to September 30th.
Yeah, it's-
And Wolf will show up at Q4.
Yeah, so the invoices, yeah, it just depends when we get them into the construction companies, but I'll keep council appraised, just, where the numbers are going, just so less surprises for everyone.
Thank you very much.
Madam Mayor, just,
Yes,
Question.
Counselor Hackley.
so the container, where's the container? Is it here or is it over in Wolf?
No, it's right there.
So that's the building that's in
That's
there.
correct,
You
yeah.
called it a container.
He called it as.
Yeah.
So-
That's not,
Yeah, sorry,
you totally
No.
blew me away.
my apologies, I was referring to the budget, we referred to it
Yeah.
as like a sealed container, but yes, we did end up purchasing a building, yeah.
Just a second question to that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna seal some paper records in there?
I think it's, again, just used kind of for storage space, again, I'll.
Is it records or is it?
Through you, Madam Mayor. Yes, so all of our records that used to be in kind of the back room and my old office, my office, which used to be an old one, has now been relocated to the building out there. Angelique has been very diligent in going through every piece of paper.
Tina?
And marking what can be under our current records retention, be destroyed, what has to be kept. So going forward, the way we have set up the building is by year. So destruction year 2026 would be kind of first, and then we would work our way around to not destroy, we have to keep permanent retentions.
My only sad side is that climate control.
No, it is not, but that being said,
Cause
some of the documents that we've come across
yeah,
probably weren't kept in the best location. I'll
Yeah,
just
so-
leave that.
that's the only thing I'm worried. I didn't see it attached to the building with a door that should be maybe spray foamed inside and properly
It's
heated and insulated to retain the records, cause like Madam Mayor says, very important. Very important. Like we go back and we're lost and we can't find stuff. I saw her in there and very stressing.
Yeah. Maybe what you're suggesting is perhaps
We finished the job.
the building inspector could make some recommendations on how that could be more secured and.
Yeah,
I think-
I love the idea. It's great, moved it out. It's not and makes more space in here and stuff. Great idea and price very fair, I think. Just maybe some spray foam and so we can control it a bit.
The only question I had
Yeah.
is in regards to the Howe Island Ferry. And you do make mention that on page 3, that the bulk of the revenue comes in, of course, at the start of the year when people are buying the passes. And since there's that co-payment for the county, and I believe we were short last year. And that, do you have concerns again? Because we seem to not be, I would have expected we'd be close to the 80% mark showing up because we won't have the same level of tourism for the next 6 months type of thing.
Yeah, through you, Madam Mayor, as far as kind of the revenue, this year we have seen kind of higher passes. There has been a shift. Less people before that, I believe they could purchase it at the county ferry terminal. They could purchase their passes. They can still purchase it at the county Frontenac offices. Where we're kind of seeing the extra funds there is there's definitely a trend of people are coming into our offices to purchase the pass, which kind of makes up a lot of that revenue. As far as the individual tickets, what we're collecting is kind of aligned with last year. I haven't seen any significant drop there. Again, we do have this line is something that is reconciled at year end because we do have a revenue sharing agreement with the county. So if county expenses are higher and we have, more revenue than we need, that there is kind of revenue sharing to make sure the county, I guess, is kind of made whole with regards to the expenses. As we know, we got the invoice last year, so I do think with the ticket price increases that we issued last year, we're, as far as I'm aware of my discussions with the county, we're kind of on track to hopefully avoid a situation where we're left with another bill come March.
Wonderful.
Yeah, that's no problem. Thank you.
Okay, so any further questions? All those in favor? Carried. Now we're at the financial report for the Wolf Island Fire Association donation letter.
Moved by Counselor Holton, seconded by Counselor Chwalnke, that finance report number FN 011-25, Wolf Island Fire Association donation letter be received, and that council direct staff to accept the donation and purchase the equipment for the fire department as per the donation letter.
Thank you, through you, Madam Mayor. It has been, I guess, a great summer for fundraising for the Wolf Island and the work done by the Wolf Island Fire Association. As you recall, I believe it was mentioned by kind of multiple members of council, there was the golf fundraising event, which I believe helped raise a lot of these funds. So the purpose of this is that we received notification of intent to donate. So with that, I just wanted to bring the letter to council, so that staff can proceed to accept donations. With the donation, they have kind of requested it be used to purchase specific gear. Again, so the purpose today is just for council to accept donation and then give staff direction to proceed with purchases. Obviously, these purchases wouldn't be included in our budget, but if we're using donation money, then there's, no deficit. The funds of the donation would be used to cover the cost of purchase.
Okay, questions, Councillor Ackley?
No questions.
Hey, Councillor Saunders?
No, thank you, Madam Mayor.
Okay, Councillor Holton?
No, just a shout out to all the volunteers that do all the work and all the people that come out and support the events and raise that money. That's a significant amount for that would have come out of our budget. Thank you.
Councillor Jablonski?
Yep. No, great, yes, please get the money and let's go back, exactly.
Yeah, and it's wonderful to see that we raised that much money in that, given the ferry was acting up on the Gulf Day, of course. So I was very impressed that that was able to be so successful despite that. Obviously, a lot of support of local people in that, not just people coming from town, because it wasn't a lot of opportunity to come from town that day. Okay, so all those in favor? Mr. Holton, you have something to say?
No, me?
No, okay. Finance report, FN 012-25, 1468 Road 96 Public Works Garage Repair Tender Award.
Moved by Counselor Holton, second by Counselor Chwalnke, that finance report number FN 012-25, 1468 Road 96 Public Works Garage Repair Tender Award be received, and further that council direct staff will award the tender to Pine Ridge Building Services.
Thank you, through you, Madam Mayor. Just to give some background on this kind of project and tendering was led by Keith Greenwood, our Public Works Foreman on Wolf Island, and Marcel Levine, our Chief Building Official. They also assisted. So I did prepare the report today just to go over the financial applications, but they have attached a letter as well. Just to give a brief background, in our 2025 budget, we included $50,000 to complete needed repairs for the Public Works Garage located at 1468 Road 96. As part of the evaluation, and Marcel was heavily involved in this, when they were looking at the roof, they also identified areas that are required to be fixed on the inside. There was some issues with the windows, the interior, as well as with the washroom. So as part of the tendering process, just from an economic standpoint, it makes sense to kind of have one organization come in and do both work. With that being said, we were also aware of budget, and we wanted to make sure that, you know, what we were spending was aligned with budget. So the project was in two phases. Phase one, which would be completed this fall, is the repairs of the roof, which was the $50,000 that was budgeted for. And phase two were those additional items that are just as much as required. And it needed to be done, but we separated it so that it wouldn't be done to 2026. Again, to kind of reflect what council has budgeted, and be aligned with that. We did get 3 tenders in, so the kind of the organization that was recommended to be awarded the tender, that we're going with today is Pine Ridge Building Services. So phase one did come in under budget, so we budgeted 50,000 and their price was $36,153.74. Including HST. So again, we'd be able to do the work identified for 2025 under budget. They then for phase two had a price of $52,707. As far as financial implications, again, there's estimated savings adjusting for HST just under $17,500. It is then kind of staff's recommendation that for phase two, we would apply the surplus from phase one and include it as a budget item, which the total cost of 2026 would be $30,084. Which we could then kind of include in the budget to be raised through taxation or reserve transfers at the time. However, as an alternative, if council rather, if they go ahead with approving it, we could just approve right now a reserve transfer from the Wolf Island Capital Reserve, which has a balance of $256,969. Again, I know he's been busy with the road work, and Marcel's currently away, so they couldn't be here today. So happy to answer the questions the best I can, regarding the project.
Councillor Ivey?
No, great to see it moving forward. I think we talked about the roof last year, like over a year ago.
Yes.
I think this is great.
And so we're putting the budget in.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Councillor Saunders?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I was a little nervous when one quote comes in significantly less than the others, so I realize you are not the building inspector, but was there something that jumped out that they said, oh, this is the reason why it's so much less?
Yeah, through you, Madam Mayor, to answer your question, all the tenders were reviewed with the documentation. My understanding, the tenders have to submit how the work is completed, give their quantities for what they would use and all the pricing. With our tender process as well, they're, you know, tied to deliver the pricing, you know, to the township. I do know Marcel went through this thoroughly with Keith to make sure it was all completed. I will say for us as well, we always kind of look for the best price for the township, but we do examine the results to make sure it's a realistic price. As far as kind of, again, I don't have the expertise myself to these repairs, but I do know they were reviewed and I trust the expertise of staff on it.
Thank you. So a follow-up question, Madam Mayor. So if we proceed with doing all of it this year and take the money out of reserves, is there money to be saved by doing that, or is it costing us more to leave it into 2026?
Yeah, through you, Madam Mayor, currently, whether we pulled from reserve or put in the budget, the work wouldn't be done to 2026, because that's what we put it. Again, the reason why staff did it is we knew overall the cost would exceed the budget. So we did just want to give council the opportunity to have the costs up front and be able to kind of make that decision.
Thank you.
Okay, Councillor Holton?
I think we should proceed with it. I think that's a pretty good price. Definitely needs to be done, and if timing wise, they can get to it and get it all done this year, then I think we need to take it out of reserves and we just put it back in next year's budget.
Okay, Councillor Jablonski?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Deputy Saunders actually, brought the same point I was concerned, it was the spread in pricing, that the price in apples for apples, we got the best price, and I say proceed with Pine Ridge.
Certainly agree with phase one. I assume that that's more urgent stuff to be done. And I'm optimistic that we might get some sort of opportunity for grant funding. Since it is a municipal building that, and with a little bit of help, we might be able to get that shared. So if phase two can be put forward into the next year's budget, that's fine by me. And with the idea of having a better opportunity to apply for some grant money and that to help with the rehabilitation of municipal properties. So recommendation is council awards contract Pine Ridge Building Services. Okay, and are you looking for directions on whether to do phase 1 and 2 ASAP or separate them?
Yeah, through you, Madam Mayor, again, with the tendering process, the requirement that we had for the companies is that phase 1 be done in the fall. If, awarding the tender, we wouldn't be able to push, force phase 2 to be done. I think from my perspective, it's probably, again, the sooner things get done, I think, we get projects completed and we move forward and move on to the next thing. Not to delay if we don't need to. As far as the grants, just with the nature of the work, there are grants out there. Usually, again, you'll see things like climate tied to it or maybe things of those nature. Again, I think a lot of these repairs that we're doing is just to bring our building up to proper standards and kind of, make up for some, maybe a little lack of maintenance over the years. So I appreciate your comment of waiting for a grant, just with the type of repairs, the eligibility or depend what's out there. Right now, I don't think there'd be any grant that would cover the cost of these. So I think today the direction to proceed with awarding the tender, and then our staff will work with that vendor to get the repairs done.
Perfect.
Yeah. So actually, I guess I should clarify. If we were to do them 26, that would, or sorry, 25, that would require a transfer from reserve. But we could refill that reserve as part of the 26 budget. So it with the, I guess, council approval, with the transfer from reserve if required, or like otherwise approved in the budget. I don't know, sorry, Vanessa, just for the wording, if that makes sense. I guess if it's approved to go forward and then, as long as staff has approval to get it done one way or the other.
So I think through you, Madam Mayor, my recommendation would be, we award the tender to Pine Ridge.
Yeah.
Have a discussion with them. If they are able to do phase 2 or start phase 2 this year, then we can come back to council, authorizing the reserve for that.
Sounds fair. Okay. Any further questions? All those in favor? Carried. Now, Public Works Report number PW 003-25 recycling.
Moved by Councillor Delaunay, second by Councillor Hathaway, the Public Works Report number PW 003-25, Howe Island and Wolf Island recycling updates report to be received.
Okay, questions, Councillor?
So a couple questions for Howe Island. I understand that they're gonna have a truck come door to door on the island. Right, in January of next year.
So through you, Madam Mayor, because of the way the regulation was written, communities that have curbside, roadside garbage would receive roadside recycling collection. So as it sits at this moment, in the case of the Howe Island Ward, Howe Island qualifies for curbside collection, so that as of January 1, the truck would do the route and pick up your recycling.
Just a couple of minutes ago. And the cost to us would be,
Zero. So Jesse could probably help better with in terms of the numbers, but when this entire thing started, I think it's really important. Let's go back a little bit. In 2022, when the regulation passed, municipalities basically had one opportunity for input. Do you want a recycling program, opt in or opt out, meaning you don't want it anymore? So in the case of the islands, we said, well, let's opt in. And through the process over the last 3 years, this is now our year to transition. Other municipalities are ahead of us. We've moved from, what was once a monthly, very expensive program where we were paying for, the bins, the hauling. Off to Kingston it would go, and then there would be a fee attached to that for Kingston to handle it. We've now been able to, through this exercise, move towards where it's reimbursed, basically payment to us.
Yeah, through you, Madam Mayor. So kind of with the recycling program, we're actually like a contracted operator because the recycling is handled provincially. I think everyone kind of saw all the, transition that happened across the board in Ontario. So with curbside right now with the depots, we get reimbursed, and that's to cover the cost of us having a staff there to do the processing. But right now with the depots, we don't pay to get it shipped out. Like they bring in their own trucks, they take it away. And there's no charge to the township. So my understanding is when it's curbside, they're doing it with their own trucks, their own contractor, they're picking up the recycling and taking it away. And we're not receiving a bill or an invoice, it's just a service that's being completed. So again, this curbside pickup, there's no invoice or cost to the township.
So there'll be no cost and we won't have to pay anything.
Yes.
Cause I looked up this company and looked at different municipality and stuff, and they have some costs. Come January 1st, and they have some costs where they're gonna be paying. Paying for them to take the stuff away still.
Yeah, through Madam Mayor, I don't know, Mike, if you wanna touch on this, but my understanding is that no, again, we don't receive any cost when they pick up the bins. Or the material currently, cause it's, we're just operating the site on their behalf.
So on the third note,
Yeah.
this is gonna add, who's supplying the buckets for the side of the road and. It's gonna mess up our island, so I'm a little disturbed on, everything sounds great, but at the end of the day, it's. That there's gonna be more ferry traffic with another truck. Are they picking up paper one day? Are they picking up plastic another day, or the glass on a third day, or styrofoam, cardboard? This is gonna be
So through you, Madam Mayor, here's the way it's explained to us. So that we will get a designated pickup day and the residents, and there'll be lots of public information, whatever, we really need to educate as best as we can. You'll place your recycled material at the edge of the road, same as where you put your garbage. The truck will arrive and will take your material and position it into whatever relevant compartment. So it's one truck, your cans will go into that section of the truck, your cardboard will go into that section of the truck. What's really important is the actual material that's being recycled is exactly the same as what you're bringing up to the depot. So it's household recyclable material, exactly the way it is today. Like, I don't know if you had a chance to go on Saturday, but you notice they've really simplified even the depot operation. Instead of all these multiple different bins, the new company is saying if it's fiber-based material, it goes here, and if it's containers, which would be glass and cans and plastic muffin things and all that, go here. And it's just really that simple. In the case of Howe Island in January, there'll just be a truck that'll do a route one day, one day a week, and they'll separate it as they go, and then off it goes.
If I may, Madam Mayor.
Yeah.
Councilor Ackley, the company is providing the recycling bins, both the gray and the blue bins for the residents on Howard.
So
Okay.
just to expand on that piece, so the recycling blue bin and that would have a mix of the glass and the paper, et cetera, or is there a separate blue bin for each type so that it?
So through you, Madam Mayor, anything that's deemed to be a container, so glass and a tin can and your muffin thing will go into the blue bin. And your fiber, so your paper, your newspaper, your cardboard will go into the gray.
Thank you very much.
So, just on a third little question is, how come Wolf Island's not doing this?
So through you, Madam Mayor, so Wolf Island didn't qualify because they continue to have a centralized garbage depot. So Wolf Island does not get curbside garbage. So everybody that lives on Wolf Island has to take their material to their, what was once the Wolf Island dump. Now it's the Wolf Island collection base with a packer there, so people still haul their material to there. So Wolf Island did not qualify where Howe Island did because we have a contractor that goes door to door and
And-
collects.
One last question. So who controls the electronics bin and the steel bin then on the weekends or through the week? Do we have to bring our road staff in to monitor this? So we're gonna pay somebody new? Cause I understand there's an existing employee gonna lose his job on the
So-
31st.
So through you, Madam Mayor, we're working out the details of the electronic pins and the steel. Right now, the concept is we could open access to that steel bin pretty much through the week and people who want to deposit, say, a refrigerator could simply come through the front door here. I think there's a $20 fee. They could, make that payment. And then between the existing road staff presently, we would assist with placing the bin or the refrigerator into the bin. And right now, refrigerators are simply dropped off on the ground and the road staff have to come with a backhoe and place it in the bin anyways.
Mhm.
So we're of the opinion, we need to do a little bit more work on that, but that could be managed by the existing staff. We are recognizing that Monday to Friday may not always work, so the concept is consider X number of Saturdays where there's a special time if you can't get here Monday to Friday. So again, we're trying to work that out. The steel that actually leaves this community is not a large volume. So we don't see it as being a huge hurdle to deal with it. Electronics, same concept. Open it up and
We'll get back to the council on that when it's more a firm plan as to how it's gonna be managed.
correct.
Counselor Saunders,
No, thank you.
Counselor Holden,
No question.
Counselor Jablonski.
No questions.
My question was along the same line in that whether it's gonna be shorter hours for Howe Island, I look forward to whatever the report is on how it's gonna be managed. Okay, so all those in favor? Carried. Now we have Public Works Report, PW 004-25 road work, Howe Island.
Moved by Counselor Holton, second by Counselor Jablonski, that Public Works Report number PW 004-25 Howe Island Road Work Report be received.
Okay, Counselor Ackley, any questions?
No, great job. It's looking good. I think I got a lot of feedback. People are thrilled. Let's move on to the next sections.
Hey, Counselor Saunders?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The only questions come up is what's next, so I assume when we get to budget time, there'll be a proposal coming forward in terms of what we do. We need to answer that, but that's what people are expecting, so. thank
Hey,
you.
Counselor Holden?
No, good job. I hope ours goes as well.
Hey, Counselor Jablonski?
Thank you. Can you guys finish up so we get the paving crew over here? We'll file. We have a lot of gravel paved right now, so it'd be nice to get them over there. Finish them up. Eddie.
Through you, Madam Mayor, we are done and have been done for a few weeks.
Oh.
So they've gone somewhere else and they're coming to you.
Yeah.
We're being told
Thursday.
Thursday, Friday.
Oh, nice.
It's okay.
All right, so hopefully everybody is going to treat the new roads with kindness while it settles in. And I saw on the weekend that there was postings of people doing donuts in our gravel area of the community center. That's not appreciated in that. So if there are some younger people or some foolish people, please pay attention. Take it easy on the roads. Please don't tear up the gravel that requires extra work for it to be set in. And it's a safety issue. And we all look forward to having better roads. Okay, all those in favor? Carried. Now, action items required.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Saunders, seconded by Counselor Holton. Whereas the Township of Frontenac Islands is fortunate to have a large and diverse network of volunteers. And whereas many township features, programs, and services are made possible through the dedication of volunteers. And whereas volunteers generously contribute their time and service without remuneration. And whereas many municipalities formally recognize their volunteers through programs of appreciation and recognition. Now therefore be it resolved that council direct staff to establish a volunteer of the year recognition program that encompasses the full scope of volunteer contributions across the township. And be it further resolved that funds be included in the annual budget to provide a tangible form of appreciation for the selected volunteers as evidence of council's gratitude for their efforts and service.
Okay.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to speak to
Okay,
my motion if I could.
sure you can.
I did a very quick, this is not all inclusive. The things that happen in our township that are based on volunteers. Kids baseball this past weekend, the art gallery on Wolf, the cenotaph committees, the the CCB board. And I do think the health unit, the building,
Medical center.
Thank you very much, the medical center, the plowing match, the fishing tournament, the recreation committee, the Terry Fox organization, the firefighters themselves, right, in terms of, we have our volunteer firefighters, and then it just came up again today, the Wolf Island Fire Association and the work they did. So the list is endless, and that's just a group, and I think we owe it to ourselves to formally recognize those folks. I have no outline in terms of what that program should be. I think it should include perhaps separately for both islands. There should be money in the budget as mentioned in the motion. And I think it should be include citizen support, whether citizens bring forward suggestions or whatever. So I'd be looking for staff to sort of firm up this concept in terms of a real program. So that's my tip.
Okay, Counselor Ackley.
No, that's a great idea, thanks.
Okay, Counselor Holton.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea as long as you don't have to pick, because we have many great volunteers. And it's very difficult to recognize that one for each year.
That's the downside.
Counselor Jablonski.
No, fantastic idea, fantastic idea.
Okay. It is a good idea in that, and Ontario already has a volunteer program that we've never been able to submit anything to, so I suggest that maybe person wins it here, and that would also be our submission to the Ontario. Because they do ask municipalities if they have anybody they want to submit. As for the financial aspect in that, because it is a volunteer program, are you thinking of a cup or something that they get their name added to or something of that nature? I don't think volunteers appreciate us handing out taxpayer money for what they've contributed their good efforts for.
So to Madam Mayor, I would leave that to the discretion of staff in terms of what's the best way to recognize it. I just want to identify that there will probably be some need for some fund, whether it's the appreciation dinner, whatever that might look like, so.
Okay, any further discussion or questions? All those in favor? Carried. Now, the request for priority boarding agriculture perishable goods.
Moved by Councillor Ackley, second by Councillor Chakwan, the request received from the Wolf Island Farmers and Fargo's General Store regarding priority boarding for the Wolf Islander Ferry. Excuse me, be supported for year-round access for agricultural / perishable goods purposes. And that staff provide a letter to the Ministry of Transportation supporting these requests.
Okay. Any questions, Councillor Ackley?
The only thing I see, you just don't have your dock set up yet there, so for us to make a decision on this, whether we would allow or disallow it, or ask MTO to allow it. We don't know what the lane situation is, or can you drive around it, can you drive through it? Is it gonna cause havoc?
That's an MTO.
Yeah.
Issue in that, and they usually
Yeah.
have a dedicated lane for priority boardings and stuff.
At this point, I don't live on the island, I
Yeah.
think we should move it over to that side to get some direction.
Okay. Councillor Saunders.
No, thank you, Madam Mayor.
Okay, Councillor Holton.
I think it's always difficult who gets it, who doesn't. Fargo Store, as far as discussion with them, they've had it for at least 8 years. I saw the letter for it, but it's got missed by MTO at some point in time. It's got left out of the list. And the agriculture, just so everybody knows, that's not just a blank check to drive on the boat. There's a lot of rules and restrictions around timing, temperatures, all sorts of things. So I think we need to approve.
Hey, Councillor Jablonski.
After the same things as Council Halton, it's they perishables as animals require certain rules. Yes, let's just keep them going, keep giving their status.
Okay, And my only question is regarding Fargo's General Store, is it also for the suppliers of it? Because they get beer and milk and dairy and fresh vegetables, et cetera. Like they have their own truck. But there's also suppliers that come over that supply primarily the general store, but also the restaurants and hotel. For commercial vehicles and that they're supplying essential, and that's my question.
Through you, Madam Mayor, my understanding and council may be able to speak to this as well. My understanding was it was for the individual trucks, so Fargo's
That's all.
delivery truck, because they have like frozen foods and that kind of thing, so.
So not for the suppliers of the restaurants or the apartments. Okay. Any further questions? All those in favor? Carried. Greg Bruce, OVP Detachment Board Resolution regarding appeal of to the Ministry of Solicitor General for reinstatement of provincial funding.
Moved by Councillor Ackley, second by Councillor Jablonski, that the request received from Grey Bruce OPP Detachment Board requesting support for appeal to the Ministry of the Solicitor General for reinstatement of provincial funding be filed or endorsed.
Okay. Any discussion? Councillor Ackley,
I have no comment.
Councillor Saunders,
I think this should be endorsed.
okay, Councillor Holton,
I would endorse.
Councillor Blonnicky.
Yes, endorse.
I agree with endorse, so all those in favor of endorsing. Carried. Now, we have the municipality of Tweed proposals. And that,
Moved by Councillor Holton, second by Deputy Mayor Saunders, that the request received from the Municipality of Tweed requesting support for the two proposals be filed or endorsed.
okay, any questions, Councillor Ackley? I can come back to you if you like.
Please, yeah.
Councillor Saunders,
I say we file this. I'm not sure this is within our purview or whatever. I'm not sure. So I would be in favor of just filing it.
okay, Councillor Holton,
Yeah, I agree.
okay, and Councillor Jablonski.
Echo the same things, file it, please.
Okay, I would say endorse it in that, because there's two detailed proposals that they submitted. And what they're asking for is that the government responds to their two detailed proposals that impact their budgets. So I think they need to be pushed in that, and I don't have a problem with endorsing it. But we'll do it both ways. All those in favor of just filing? All those in favor of endorse, carried for filing. Thank you. Okay, and Norfolk County, letter of support regarding Bill C2.
Moved by Councillor Jablonski, second by Councillor Ackley, that the request received from Norfolk County regarding Bill C2 be received and filed or endorsed.
Okay. Would you like me to come back to you again, Councillor Ackley?
Well, I read through this there the other day and I'm a bit confused. So this North Fork County, they are against Bill C2, right? Yeah, so they don't want, they want people to be able to be paid cash and so forth and whatever. Correct, okay, just so I'm clear. Yeah.
Okay. Councillor Saunders,
No further comment.
Councillor Holton,
No comment.
Councillor Jablonski.
No comment.
Okay, I would go for filing that one. It is a tricky one because I can understand why they come up with C2 to try to curb crime and that for the big purchases and that where it impacts the car dealerships, and it's what these people seem to be concerned with, but is there anybody that would like to endorse this?
Well, I'd like to endorse it. I'm not in favor of them,
No.
not be able to
Okay.
take my money.
Okay, so anything over $10,000?
Yeah, anything over $10,000, yeah.
So all those in favor of endorsing this letter? Okay, carried. All right, and now we're at Town of Aurora, opposition to Bill 17, Protect Ontario by building faster and smarter.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Saunders, seconded by Councillor Holton, the request received from the Town of Aurora regarding opposition to Bill 17, Protect Ontario by Building Faster and Smarter Act 2025, be received and filed or endorsed.
Okay. Counselor Ackley, let me come back.
Yeah, come back.
Okay, Counselor Saunders,
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So if we endorse it, does that mean the staff are required to respond or send a letter or something? I guess I just said that.
Through you, Madam Mayor, yes, we would respond to the town of Aurora, letting them know that council has endorsed their request.
Okay, so in light of the workload of our current staff, I would say since organizations like AMO and all other municipalities, I think our small voice is gonna make a big difference, so I would recommend just filing it.
Counselor Holton,
No comment.
Counselor Jablonski.
No comment.
Okay, I'd recommend endorsing it, and also a good point that we need to copy even on the previous ones. They asked for a copy to the Association of Municipalities and all Ontario municipalities. That's how we get things like this arriving in, whether it's a strong mayor's power from someplace else. But if we only send it back to the initial township, then the other levels of power don't understand that we've supported it as well. So I think that that's part of the understanding, but maybe we need to be more specific.
No, you are correct, Madam Mayor, that when we endorse a motion, if it comes from emo or whatever, or if it's the RCC, then we do respond to that as well.
Good to hear. Okay, so all those in favor of just filing this? Carried. And now we're at the Township of Ramara regarding the strong mayor's power legislation.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Saunders, second by Councillor Holton, the request received from the Township of Ramara regarding strong mayor powers legislation be filed or endorsed.
Okay, Councillor Ackley,
I got a comment.
okay, Councillor Saunders,
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I don't have a lot of background on this vegetable. On principle, I would say if there's an opportunity to increase the income for veterans, we should be doing that.
no, we're on the strong mayor's powers.
Yeah, strong.
Oh, sorry, I jumped in. My apologies. No, I have no comment.
Okay, Councillor Holton,
No comment.
Councillor Jablonski.
No comment.
Okay, I'd endorse this, and that the key thing is different from the other ones that we've endorsed already, is it's asking that the province immediately repeal the strong mayor's power piece. Whether they'll ever do that is another issue in that, but it's a little bit more broad in its request. So all those that want to just file it. 3, okay, and those who want to endorse. 2, carried that it's filed.
Thank you.
Okay, now Township of Southgate request for support, increased income support threshold for Canadian veterans.
Moved by Councillor Ackley, second by Councillor Jablonski, the request received from the Township of Southgate. Request for support regarding increased income support thresholds for Canadian veterans be filed / endorsed, or sorry, and or endorsed.
Okay, Councillor Ackley,
I got no comment.
Councillor Saunders.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I apologize for jumping ahead earlier. Same comment. If I understand this properly, this will improve the opportunity for income for veterans. If I understand that properly, I would strongly endorse this.
Thanks, Councillor Holden,
I have no comment.
Councillor Jablonski.
Well, thank you, Rick. I read the same way Deputy Mayor Saunders does. This endorsing, that I said, veterans absolutely support this.
Okay, I just have a question along this line, since the Prime Minister has actually announced an increase during the month of August. I have a feeling that increase was after this letter was sent, because it actually still refers to Andrew Scheer as being the acting official leader and all that stuff. Obviously, they need to have an increase of support, so I'm very supportive of it. I'm just. I wouldn't want to short them on it either. I don't know how much the Prime Minister has increased their veterans allowance at this point in time. But I am in support. I don't think he would have doubled it. Councillor Ackland.
And the increase is just for veterans, right? Not,
Income replacement benefit and that, so
for veterans.
primarily disabled veterans, yeah. Okay, so. All those in favor of filing? All those in favor of endorsing? Carried. That one's gonna go to Mr. All the way up the chain, right up to the Prime Minister. Okay. Now, we have public question period. Are any questions? We only have people online. Put your hand up on your laptop. Seeing no questions. Going once, going twice. Are there any questions that I'm missing here, guys?
I don't
Looking
see
at the
it.
clerks? No, okay. Now we got statement by members. Counselor Ackley.
Again, I'd just like to thank our roads department for getting us some new roads and moving forward, and I can hardly wait till the next stage, and I'd love to know if anybody knows if we're ever getting a new ferry.
No word yet.
No comment, Jim. I don't think it's funny, I just, like, we're moving forward on the roads, let's get our job done, right?
As far as I know, we still are not the Ministry of Transportation.
Just checking, I have to ask the question if anybody knows.
All right. Counselor Saunders,
No, thank you.
Counselor Hull,
Great.
Counselor Bonnefield.
Been a quiet month, no statements today.
Okay, I'm gonna make a statement that I was very disappointed that when I called the special meeting during August, none of the councilors attended. That's twice that I've called a special meeting. The prior one was in December the 8th, and that, which was basically 4 days after the incident. When a mayor calls a special meeting of council, they are to come there to make every effort to come. I don't call it lightly. And it's unfortunate that it is part of responsibility of council to work together and to work for the benefit of the residents. I want that crystal clear. I don't do it lightly. Now, the end of the summer is upon us. We still have lots of long lineups. I know that there was a motion that was supposed to be coming back to the September meeting. It didn't occur. We've had a long enough meeting today. But maybe that'll be on a later meeting when it's on Wolf, if it's related to Wolf. The Wolf Founder 4 remains out of service, and its estimated date is supposed to be October the 10th. And there's lots of trepidation, and that it's never ran in winter. The water is low, and there is no charging or magnetic mooring at the winter dock if it should go there. The Wolf Founder 3 is to go for inspections. It's my understanding on that. But I'm unaware of any information. I see the CAO's left, but the clerk is still here. I'm unaware of any information as to which boat will be our backup, whether it will be the Amherst Islander 2 or the Frontenac. And it'd be good to get that clarified, given our issues of reliability that we've had in the past. So I hope staff could be on that, since they are in more regular communication with MTO. The dock work on Howe Island is to start in January, we're told, for loading ramps and timber. I don't know why the ministry wants to start dock work in January. I hope we don't have ice coverage like we had last year. It's an interesting time. I can appreciate it's probably less visitors. Maybe some people have gone and yeah, I'm not the MTO, but just be aware that they're planning a January start on the ramp and timber replacement. On the good news side, Open Farms was this past weekend. And was, to my knowledge, well attended, but I haven't seen the numbers on it. There's a euchre at St. Margaret's Hall on September the 15th. On September 10th on Wolf Island at 5:30, there's an open information session on shoreline protection from the county of Frontenac at the town hall.
Sorry,
Oh,
Madam Mayor,
yes.
if I may clarify, it's not just shoreline protection, it's with regards to the community planning permitting system.
Okay, and community planning permitting system. So that, even if you're on any of the other islands, feel free to come, because I don't think the county will be doing a repeat for us on that. So it's 5:30, September the 10th. at the town hall on Wolf.
Also, Madam Mayor, if I may, if you are unable to make it in person, there is a Zoom link so you can attend virtually as well.
Okay, cool. October the 6th to the 9th, there's gonna be the start of the Lodgepole Arts Celebration on Wolf Island. And a quick footnote, I attended the AMO conference at the county's expense primarily. August the 16th to the 19th, it was very informative. One of the key pieces was regarding our election lists and the voters lists that are going on. Apparently in Ontario, there's a lot of communities that have a very low voter turnout, as in single digits and in the low teens. After our election last time, we had reported 67% voter turnout. And that's, so I was quite pleased to be able to point out that, you know, we have a strong involvement of the community members in how an election turns out. And so they're actively looking to try to figure out how to increase their turnout. Part of it is cleaning up voters lists, and so the election officers and that will count on the involvement of our clerks to help clean that up. And I hope that we can get on our website an actual link, because the cleanup can also be done and should be done primarily by the individuals, and that if they no longer own the property, if they have just moved to the property, to make sure that they're on the voters list. And the more that we can get done now, and it's open now, and that the better we'll be in that. But having a better voters list is always the goal. And it was wonderful in that to hear the chief electoral officer of the entire province explain the newest system, because in 2022, basically our system became a centralized system, but with 3 months that the clerks in particular are fully responsible for the list.
Madam Mayor, if I just may point out, it's 12:25.
Yep.
We have 5 minutes to get through anything else.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask for a motion to extend the meeting until the business at hand is done with, not to exceed 1 hour.
So what I have, and I don't have a mover or seconder, is just council extend the meeting beyond 12:30, but not beyond 1 PM. So can I have a mover and seconder for that?
Okay, Councillor Saunders and Hackley. All in favor? Carried. Now, we're at notice of motions.
Madam Mayor, I believe you had indicated you were going to.
Yep. Back time. Which one was it?
I believe this there in the moment.
Well.
Last. No, motion, Councillor table the document, those two were defeated.
Oh, I think it was with regards to is it the information items?
I'll pass on that.
Okay.
Pass on that one. I think you said a busy enough time. Okay. And any announcements? Councillor Hackley, Councillor Saunders.
Thank you, Member. I have several. First of all, this year marks the 45th anniversary of the Terry Fox Run on Howe Island and the 20th anniversary of our Howe Island event. For the past 19 years, Howe Islanders have raised $153,773. The date is this coming Sunday, September the 4th, opens at 9:30. The event itself starts at 10:30 and there's a free community barbecue at 11 o'clock. In addition to that, we had a very successful again end of season baseball and fireworks end of season event. Unfortunately, the fireworks portion of it had to be delayed or will be rescheduled to the Thanksgiving weekend. Saturday, October the 11th. So Thank you to Mike Hart and the group that ran the event. Again, even though there were no fireworks, it was still really well attended and well received. In addition to that, I want to thank Devin Upgrove and his crew for putting together a kids fishing tournament on Saturday. It was fabulous, all kinds of kids really enjoy it, lots of prizes, all that kind of thing. Recreational events are now posted on the township website. And in addition to that, we now have a new Facebook page. Thank you to our deputy clerk, where all kinds of information is being posted on a regular basis as one more way of helping people find out what's going on. And as you may have noticed when you're coming into the building, our new cenotaph is well under construction. It's looking very attractive. And the plan is to have an event there on Remembrance Day, which would be November the 11th. So thank you to the group that put that together. So thank you. That's my announcements.
Councillor Holton?
Just one, the Recreation Committee of Wolf Island is having a community dance. Texas Tuxedos, they had them last time, they're fantastic. It is Friday, September 19th is what the date, it's a Friday night, not a Saturday night, there was some confusion last year. Opens at 8:30 and it's $20 at the door in Ashburn. Give them a play.
And who's that for, the community center board?
That's the Recreation Committee, so they are looking for, I think, to raise money for new hockey rinks.
All right. Councillor Warnicki?
No announcements.
Hey, and I already included the euchre basically in that and a few other things, so we're good. Now, bylaws.
So the first bylaw I have is the shareholders agreement. I would be looking for 3 readings and final passage for that one, and then the only other one is the confirmatory bylaw. So moved by Councillor Holton, second by Deputy Mayor Saunders, that 3 readings and final passage be granted to bylaws 020-2025 and 022-2025 being a a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Okay. Now,
Moved by Councillor Ackley, second by Councillor Jablonski, that the regular meeting of council held September the 8th, 2025 adjourned.
okay, and the time is 12:30. All those in favor? Carried.
Thank you very much.